So it's official, in writing, from Bethesda's own mouth. They are remastering Fallout New Vegas. That's in the note they put out this week. Quote, "While we're not announcing any dates today, we have been working on remasters for both Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Have been working on, present tense, already happening. And 2 years ago, I would have said that that's great. New Vegas is the one. It's the reactive world, it's the factions, it's Mr. House and Benny, and 120 hours of real, impactful choices. Getting that game modernized should be a celebration, but I'm not celebrating." About 9 months ago, in November 2025, Bethesda re-released Fallout 4, the anniversary edition, for the game's 10th birthday. And it was an absolute disaster. It broke people's mods, it broke people's saves, and it dragged a 10-year-old game that everybody already loved down to mostly negative on Steam. They spent the next 3 months patching their way out of it. That's the most recent thing Bethesda put in our hands. That's the last time they touched one of their own back catalog games, and they fumbled it so badly that people who'd owned and loved that game for a decade were leaving negative reviews on it. And now they want to do it to New Vegas. So let's talk about what happened in November 2025. The anniversary edition was supposed to be a gift. 10 years of Fallout 4, next-gen upgrades, and creation support, which is Bethesda's official mod platform, finally coming to Fallout 4. And that last part is where it went sideways. Because Fallout 4 has one of the biggest modding scenes in gaming. People have spent 10 years building on that game. There are load orders out there with 300 mods in them that took someone a full weekend to assemble. And Bethesda pushed an update into that, and a huge chunk of it snapped. Mods stopped working. Save files got wrecked. People who hadn't touched the game in years came back for the anniversary and found their setups in pieces. The review score on a decade-old, 35 million selling, most awarded game in the franchise fell into mostly negative, which is a thing that basically does not happen to beloved old games unless the publisher does it to them. And the response wasn't, "Oh, we are really sorry we screwed things up. Here's a rollback, perhaps even some extra bonus as a gesture of good faith and an apology." No. The real response was mostly silence, with a few sparse patches, for 3 months. Now, hold that up against New Vegas. New Vegas is a harder job than Fallout 4, and it's a job where the stakes are higher, for 2 reasons. The first one is that New Vegas isn't Bethesda's game. Obsidian made it in 18 months on Bethesda's own tools, and famously duct-taped together at the end. That game is held up by decades of community work. There are stability patches, there are unofficial fixes, there's an entire ecosystem of stuff that exists specifically because the original shipped rough. The modern experience of New Vegas, the one people actually recommend to newcomers, is a stack of community fixes on top of a 16-year-old game. So Bethesda isn't just remastering their game here. They're stepping into the middle of the single most carefully maintained modding scene in the entire franchise. And their last interaction with a big modding scene was November, where they walked in and broke it. The second reason is that New Vegas fans are one of the most protective fan bases I've seen in gaming. This is the game people hold up as proof that Fallout can be better than Bethesda makes it. It's the anti-Bethesda Fallout. So if this remaster is mediocre, or even worse, if it brings new bugs and breaks the game, like the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition did, it will be way more than just a disappointment. It'll be received as Bethesda, proving the point everybody's been making about them for 15 years. Now, of course, there is a possibility that this goes fine. Oblivion remastered last year. That was outsourced, Virtuos did the work, and it turned out well, more or less. People mostly liked it. It looked like a genuine modernization instead of a cash grab. So it is absolutely possible to take an old Bethesda game and do right by it. So the question isn't really, can this be done? It obviously can. The question is, who's doing it? Because those are 2 very different track records sitting 8 months apart. Hand New Vegas to an outside studio that specializes in this work, with actual time and an actual budget. And I think we can get something good. Run it through the same in-house process that produced the Anniversary Edition in November, and we get another mess. And here's what Bethesda said about which one it is. Nothing, not a word. The Bethesda note from July 17th says they've been working on remasters, and that's the whole sentence. No studio, no partner, no date, no platform, no scope. Are these full remakes with new engines? Are they upscaled re-releases? Is Virtuos involved? Is anyone outside the building involved? They didn't say. There is something funny about that silence. The studio that made New Vegas is currently sitting inside Xbox, confirmed in that same note, working on a brand new Fallout project. Obsidian is right there. Tim Kane's there, Josh Sawyer's there. The people who built this game are down the hall and on the payroll. And in a note that mentions Obsidian by name, in a paragraph about teaming up with longtime friends, there is not one word connecting them to the remaster of their own game. Maybe they're involved, maybe they're not. Bethesda had the perfect opportunity to say so and didn't. And that's part of a pattern from last week that I talked about in yesterday's video. Todd did an interview alongside that note and got asked 3 direct questions. Will the next Elder Scrolls and Fallout be Xbox exclusive? Too early to comment. When's Elder Scrolls 6 coming out? Nothing. What engine is Obsidian's Fallout game being built on? More will be revealed later. 3 questions, 3 non-answers, and now a 4th thing they won't clarify, which is who is actually touching New Vegas? Every single one of those is a question where the answer would tell you something real. And every single time, they'd rather you fill the silence in yourself, which historically is exactly how they've done things thus far. So here's where I land on it. I want this. I want a New Vegas that runs properly, that doesn't need 4 hours of setup and a wiki tab open. I want a New Vegas that a new player can just install and play and understand why the rest of us won't shut up about it. That's a genuinely great thing to want, and I'd love to have it. I just don't think Todd's earned the benefit of the doubt on it. And that's not me being cute. 8 months ago, they took a game that 35 million people own and love, touched it, and made it worse. That's their most recent resume. Not that the stuff before it was great, like Starfield and Fallout 76 before it. So you're a studio that all you've done in the last decade is publish Fallout 76, publish Starfield, and screw up Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition so badly it ruins a perfectly good game. All of that means you don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. So no, I'm not very optimistic about the New Vegas remaster turning out great. I'll get excited when they tell me who's building it. If it's an outside studio with a real mandate, great. If it's the same process that gave us the Anniversary Edition, then what we've actually got here is a countdown to the day they break New Vegas 2, and the community spends another 6 months fixing it for them. For free, like always. Tell me in the comments what you actually want out of a New Vegas remaster, because I'm curious how many of you would rather they just left it alone. Until next time, take care.